For those people who love end-time Bible prophecies like I do, there are very few mysteries in the entire Bible that are as captivating as those related to the Antichrist. So many questions are still to be answered concerning this wicked individual, including his name, his number, his race, his nationality, and the year of his appearance. But the one thing that remains undeniable is that towards the end of time, Satan the devil, in all his evil fullness, will live and walk on this earth as a human being. This human devil is the one known by various names, including the Antichrist, the beast, the man of sin, the lawless one, and the little one. But how will Satan transform himself into a human being? As always, the God of heaven has already provided the answers to such difficult questions. The Bible informs us that towards the end of time, Satan the devil will give his power, his throne, and his authority to a human being, to the person known as the beast or the Antichrist. I will quote from the book of Revelation, where we meet the devil, also known as the dragon, in the process of handing over his power and his authority to the man known as the Antichrist or the beast. Revelation 13 verses 1 to 2, I read, "The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority." The prophet Ezekiel also provides details of the transfer of power and authority from Satan the devil to a human king whom Ezekiel calls the ruler of Tyre, with the devil himself being referred to as the king of Tyre. This ruler of Tyre, a title that refers to the coming Antichrist, will sit on the devil's throne and rule the entire world under the direct control, the direct influence, and the direct guidance of Satan himself. I will quote from the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel 28, verses 1 to 2, and I read, "The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, say to the ruler of Tyre, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In the pride of your heart you say, I am a god. I sit on the throne of a god in the heart of the seas. But you are a mere mortal and not a god, though you think you are as wise as a god." The above passage tells us that in the future, a human being will sit on the throne of Satan the devil, who is currently the god and the ruler of this world. The passage goes further to inform us that this human being who will sit on the throne of Satan the devil will then regard himself as a god, which is what the Antichrist will do. The reason why the Antichrist will regard himself as a god is because at that time, Satan, who is a spirit, will live inside the human body of the man who will become the Antichrist, making the Antichrist and the devil one and the same person. Satan will do the same thing that was done by God the Father, who is also a spirit, and who also lived and walked upon the earth while hiding inside the body of the man known as Jesus Christ the Messiah. The devil will therefore rule the world while disguised as a human being, known as the Antichrist, who will actually be Satan the devil, covered with human flesh and bones. The Apostle Peter informs us that Satan the devil travels around the earth like a roaring lion looking for people to devour. 1 Peter 5 verses 8 to 9 I read, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy the devil prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in the faith, because you know that the family of believers throughout the world is undergoing the same kind of sufferings." In addition to being a roaring lion, the devil also behaves like a soaring eagle, which flies between earth and heaven, so that Satan can appear before the Lord in his temple and accuse God's people of wrongdoing, as the book of Job explains. Job 1 verses 6 to 7 I read, "One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, 'Where have you come from?' Satan answered the Lord, 'From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it.'" Because Satan the devil manifests himself as both a lion that moves on the earth and an eagle which flies between heaven and earth, a time will soon come when God will cut off the devil's wings in order to prevent him from entering heaven. Once that happens, the devil, who is a spirit, will be forced to find a human body to possess, so that Satan himself can live and operate freely on the earth as the devil in human flesh, effectively becoming God among us. The book of Daniel provides information on how Satan the devil will be kicked out of heaven and forced to dwell permanently on the earth as the man known as the beast or the Antichrist. I will quote from the prophet Daniel, who saw a vision of this end-time event thousands of years ago. Daniel 7 verses 2 to 4 I read, "Daniel spoke, saying, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, each different from the other. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I watched till its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted up from the earth and made to stand on 2 feet like a man, and a man's heart was given to it." The above passage confirms what I said earlier, that the devil will one day be cast down from heaven and never again be permitted to come into the presence of the Lord in heaven. The Lord will cut off the wings of the winged lion and throw the devil from heaven to the earth, where the devil will be forced to enter into the body of the Antichrist. That is why the prophet Daniel saw a vision of a lion representing the devil, having his wings plucked off and being made to stand on 2 legs like a man, with a man's heart being given to him. I will now quote from the book of Revelation, which provides more details of how the devil, or the winged lion, will lose its eagle wings and be thrown onto the earth to usher in the dreadful events of the Great Tribulation. Revelation 12 verses 7 to 9 I read, "And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought, but they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Indeed, the devil will not prevail against the forces of God in heaven, and he will be defeated and cast down to the earth, with his place in heaven no longer being available to him. Upon landing on the earth, the devil will search for a willing person to possess, identifying the Antichrist as the perfect candidate. The devil will then give his throne, his power, and great authority to the Antichrist, helping the Antichrist to rise to the position of world ruler, as the book of Daniel indicates. Daniel 8, verses 23 to 25, I read, "In the latter part of their reign, when rebels have become completely wicked, a fierce-looking king, a master of intrigue, will arise. He will become very strong, but not by his own power. He will cause astounding devastation and will succeed in whatever he does. He will destroy those who are mighty, the holy people. He will cause deceit to prosper, and he will consider himself superior. When they feel secure, he will destroy many and take his stand against the Prince of Princes. Yet he will be destroyed, but not by human power." The Antichrist, or the beast, is the person whom Jesus referred to when he warned about the dangers of a person gaining the whole world and losing his own soul. Matthew 16, verse 26, I read, "For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul?" Such are the mysteries of God's holy word.